there, welcome back. This is lesson 2 in our shadow puppet theatre unit. So today we are gonna be hopefully creating our own little shadow puppet theatre, and here's one I made earlier. Okay, now it's very straightforward and most of the stuff you probably will have in your house. So the things you will need are an empty cereal box, ta-da, a pair of scissors, a ruler, some tape, possibly some glue, a glue stick, some pens and pencils, and you will need some thin paper. Okay, now I've got some tracing paper here, which is ideal. Tissue paper would also work, and you might get this like maybe if you've had something packaged, maybe a pair of shoes or something. Sometimes they're wrapped in tissue paper, or possibly with the baking equipment, some greaseproof paper might work. So the greaseproof paper. Okay, so just say that again: your thin paper, your cereal box, pens and pencils, ruler, tape, glue. Okay, now we are going to start with our empty cereal box. And very carefully, watch out for paper cuts and try not to tear if possible. You are going to undo this box and you're going to open it up so it is totally flat. So I think it's joined at one side. Let me get it. Here it is. And I'm just going to pull that apart. Okay? Like so. Okay. I'm going to open it right out like so. Okay. Now, this is quite good actually for your maths as well, because here you see from the cuboid that we had that was the shape of the box, we now have the net shape, and you can see the size and the parts that go together to make up that cuboid. Okay. Now, we're going to look at the two biggest faces of that cuboid. That is the front and the back. And using our ruler, I'm going to line it up with the crease on the sides. And I am going to go straight down the length of one side and straight along the bottom and the top and the sides. So almost to create a little rectangle inside. Okay. A wee bit squint there. Right, do you see that? So I have done a little rectangle on the inside. And I'm going to do the same on this bit here. So it's like on the front and the back. Just drawing on the inside. It'll either be grey or white on the inside of your box. Okay, so you're going to draw a rectangle inside about the width of your ruler all the way around. Okay. Then we are going to cut that out. Now please be careful when you're cutting it out. I'm just going to stab my scissors through, so this is where you've got to be really careful, and cut around the edges of that. Okay, now, here's one I made earlier. Ta-da! So this is what it should look like once the parts are missing. Now these little bits that you cut out, please do not throw them out, because they will come in very handy for any puppets and things that we need to make later on. So that is the bit, keep it, save it. So once you've got your piece like this again with the two rectangles in it, you want to take your thin piece of tracing paper or greaseproof paper or tissue paper and cut it so that it fits behind on the picture side of the cereal box. Okay, so it's going to fit over the hole there, and you're going to tape it down. So my one's not quite the right size, so I am just going to excuse me, I'm just going to cut the edges of that. There we go, just a little bit. So it's just slightly overlapping the rectangle shape. So again, I'm just going to hold it over here on one side only. I'm going to place it down and I'm going to take my tape, some bits I cut out earlier just to be prepared. I'm going to tape it to the picture side of the box. Okay, now, and probably best if you tape that all the way around here and down the sides. Okay, once you've done that, so you'll see you have your gap and your tissue paper, you are going to reassemble the box. Now, to do that, you want to find the creases where the folds have already been, and you're wanting to fold them back on themselves the opposite way. Okay, so what you're going to end up with is that the outside of your box becomes the inside of your box and vice versa. Now, so I'm just going to crease those folds the opposite way. And very carefully, I'm going to take tape again to reassemble it. Now, the sellotape that I'm using, the sticky tape should I say, is shiny. And come the time you want to maybe decorate your box, if there's sticky tape in the way of that, it can be a bit troublesome to colour over it. So to overcome that, sometimes I would recommend using these sticky labels to stick pieces of card back together, because the sticky labels are paper on the non-sticky side and you can just colour over them. You could use your glue as well if you preferred, but I'm just, for the sake of this purposes of this video today, I am just going to use the tape to stick this back together inside out. Okay, so I've got my screen there. That's going to be the front of my theatre, and I'm going to tape this all back together along the top and down the sides. Okay, here it goes. Now, I may have said about the design of different theatres and how decorative the stage is often at the theatre. It's something I really miss just now, and it would be nice if you could incorporate that into your design when you decorate your box, just to make it look a bit more interesting. So perhaps you could have a little search for some images of different stages and different theatres to see the sort of pattern and decoration that you could include. I just used pencil and pen, including some metallic pens that I happen to have to decorate my finished product. But you can use paint, you could wrap it in paper even, or something like that. So there's my basic box with the screen attached. Now be very gentle with it, because obviously that's thin paper, it's quite delicate, it's not going to stand a lot of rough and tumble. And if you looked at my original design here, it had this sort of raised bumpy bit at the top, and I drew pillars at the sides, and here's spotlights along the bottom of the stage. Okay, now that was just my take on how it might be. I've also included the drama masks, the happy and sad mask there, yeah, but it's up to you how you include it. But I think it does sort of add to the feature by putting this bumpy section on top. So you're going to need to cut a piece of bumpy card a bit like this out of the leftovers from your box. So you started off with a rectangle shape like that, and you're going to fold it in half long ways. And what to do is, from the centre fold, just start in the corner and draw, I'll stand up here, draw a sort of downwards hill like that. Can you see it? There we go. And with it still folded, you're going to cut that so that it's symmetrical, so that it's the same on both sides. And that will just give a sort of pelmet, a raised bit to the top of your stage. So there you go, and you can just, with your glue stick, just glue it along here. You might want to decorate it while it's still loose, and then you can just put your box face down and decorate it, ready for the next stage in our shadow puppetry unit. So here's your box with all your little bits to decorate. See how yours looks, and I will see you next time for our puppet making session. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye, boys and girls. See you next time.